We're done letting the Utah people beat up on one another. We're going to turn our attention to the north. We're bringing the folks down from Boise, Idaho. The Primal Tribe Fighting Club brought some fighters down here. Who they bring, Johnny?
I tell you what, they brought a mountain of a man in Paul Weremecki. You should see this kid. He's got no neck.
Speaking of Weremecki,
I'm telling you, Weremecki. This kid's huge. He's physical. He's been fighting hard, and I think he's got something to say against Tuiaki, Mike.
Well, Weremecki's got, he's one big potato, but he's fighting a guy that just knocks people out. That's what he does. So let's check it out. Heavyweight, no bar, check it out.
Well, first off, just tell us that. What does it mean to be representing Utah versus Team Idaho?
Oh, it feels good. I'm flattered to be considered one of the best out of Utah right now, so I'm excited to fight someone from out of state.
Okay. And why don't you give us a prediction, E? What do you think tomorrow is going to come? What's going to happen? What's going to separate you from the rest of the competition tomorrow?
I'm prettier than him.
He's prettier than him. You heard it right there. Tuiaki always wanted to crack jokes. Tell us, Paul, with all your training over there with Tom Supnett and all these other roughnecks, what's going to give you the edge? Why are you going to walk away the victor tomorrow?
Numerous hours in the gym, just committed to working out as hard as I can. All that running, all that lifting, and hopefully it'll pay off tomorrow.
All right, Johnny, we stand corrected. It's not Weremecki, it's Weremecki.
But
because he has no neck.
Yeah, Paul Weremecki is what we're going to call this kid. Because, man, coming out of Primal Tribe Fight Club, there you see Tom Sutton in his corner walking him out.
His name is No Harry.
Yeah. And you know that he is training some of the toughest fighters up there in Idaho, Mike. Some of the toughest guys around, really willing to compete, to make the trek down here to take on our toughest guys and beat him.
He just barely fit in the door right there.
He's huge, Mike. I'm not even joking, man. He's twice the size of us. I think shoulder to shoulder together, we're not as wide as that kid, Mike.
Yeah,
he's huge. He's a big kid.
If he were laying down on his shoulder, he's as tall as we are.
He's as wide as we are tall. But his opponent, Tuiaki, Mike, what do we know about this guy, man?
You know, I just got to tell you, this kid has really been a cool addition to the show, man. He came up from Southern Utah playing football down there, and he's on a bit of a summer break here, and he came in and just started knocking people out. But he's as humble and nice a guy as you will ever meet.
He's a comedian, Mike. He's a jokester. He likes to have fun. He's the only guy backstage pulling pranks, and other guys are sweating it out, worrying about fighting. He's back there pulling jokes and just being a funny guy, Mike. He's a really good kid, and I'm glad he's a part of the show.
You know, though, you see him in the gym, and he trains hard, doesn't mess around. He's not in there. He maybe plays pranks, but I don't see it. But he's in there training hard.
Training hard, and Weremecki, man, you can tell this guy, Mike, I think he's got the physical advantage on Tuiaki. I just think he's a lot bigger. He looks like he's spent a few days in the weight room himself.
Sure,
Mike.
he has, but you know that he has matched up against these guys, at least on the offensive line. You know, he's a fullback. He's knocking these defensive players out of the way here.
Wow.
Man, he's got trapped underneath the much bigger, stronger Weremecki, and look at that. He is no joke himself. He's a pretty strong kid.
He's just a brute, but he gives up his back, which might not be a good thing if you're going to train with Tom Supnett. But well, he gets reversed, gets in the guard.
He has the presence of mind to turn and face his opponent, which really at his early stage of development is a big statement that he was that aware. Well, and that goes back to how athletic he is.
Oh, athletic all the way around, Mike, but knows what the full mount is and knows he loves this position. We've seen him knock out guys from here before, and he's going to be content to sit in full mount and just knock this kid around.
Oh, Johnny, you're punching a brick wall there.
How do you knock a kid out like that?
Oh,
big slam. Big slam by Weremecki. Maybe now looking for a shoulder choke, trying to get out to the side, sink that shoulder choke in, and maybe end this fight early, Mike.
I think he's looking to get a couple of big, deep breaths of air. He looks like he's sucking a little pond water right there, and maybe to his disadvantage. He had Tuiaki pinned to the ground, and as you mentioned, looked like he had a shoulder choke that he could have applied, but Weremecki just really looked like he seemed to have to regain his bearings just a little bit.
Well, and he's regaining his bearings by dropping knees into Tuiaki's side. You know that ain't going to set well with E. He's going to get out from under there one way or another, Mike, I think. He's not just going to be content to lay there unless he's taking a little breather himself.
Well, how do you move the mountain? You've got the mountain on top of you. How do you get out from underneath there, Johnny?
You just got to wiggle and squirm and try to just, bridge and try to get yourself out of there, because if you let this kid lay on you too long, that's exhausting.
Well, it's not only exhausting, but he's putting a beat down on you, and that doesn't feel good right there. That might take your afro right off your head.
Well, and you see Dave Sillistead there watching very close, looking for the tap, making sure that Tuiaki's going to walk out of this thing safe. But look at him, Mike. He's somber. He's just hanging out.
He's chilling under there.
He's chilling.
Singing some island music in his head. You remember the day when you could just scoot out of the ring? Now
you can't scoot out of this thing. and you know, he's squeezing Paul, trying to keep him closer, not letting him get that spacing that he needs to drop down those punches. But you can only do that so long before your arms get tired, and I don't think he can do it for another 21 seconds, Mike.
Especially when you're trying to hold a guy that strong in close, because you know, just him sitting up, there's a lot of power there. So he's doing a good job. He's doing a great job. And sometimes it's we talk about the game of chess. The game of chess right here means that you need to hold your opponent in and don't let him drop the big bomb. So 5 seconds left.
Well,
looks like he's done
you know
just that.
I didn't think he was going to do it, Mike. I thought Weremecki would muscle out of that and drop some punches down, but he didn't get the chance to, and that's got to be a little frustrating for a guy this big who probably manhandles the guys in the gym. Like,
you know what, Johnny? That's a really good sign for E. When your opponent stands up and spits his mouthpiece out like that, it tells you he is just beat. And that's probably why he wasn't able to sit up and drop those bombs. He's just out of gas. Seeing your Crush Combat Camp, some really power moves there by Weremecki, but I think that took a lot of strength and energy
Mike,
out of it.
in the first round, you seen that Paul Weremecki, I think, controlled it when they got to the ground. But when they were on their feet, did you see E dropping bombs? And Weremecki, I mean, the only thing he could do was turn his head until he got real close enough to take him down. There's another shot right there.
Speaking of big bombs, he's cracked 2 big right hands on Weremecki to start this second round. And you can see Weremecki's knees are buckling. That's number 3 and 4. And I think this fight might be over, Johnny.
Oh, my God.
Oh, baby.
What a change of events. Wow. You see it right there. On the ground, Weremecki controlled it. On their feet, Tuiaki does what he does best, and that's knock people out. Knock them right out of their game plan.
See here in your Crush Combat Camp, those big right hands we talked about, but if Tuiaki would learn a little ground, this kid would be unstoppable.
Unstoppable, because he's an athlete, a competitor, and now he's your Border Wars champion. Nice job.
Oh, baby, for a rookie just coming into this thing, that's big to kind of be representing the state of Utah and doing it successfully. Ogre 6-man, I expect big things out of you, kid.
This post-fight interview brought to you by our good friends at Great Clips.
Go to ultimatecombat.com for participating locations.
You came out here and you gave him a hell of a fight. I mean, that first round, yeah, again, I thought you won it. You got full mount. Why weren't you able to finish him when you got full mount on him?
Oh, he protected real good, held on, and just couldn't get it done there.
Well, you feel good about your performance. You feel like, you know, you came in here and you learned some things. You're going to come back and do it again?
Great learning experience. First loss. Lost to a worthy guy, so I'll chuck it up from there, see where I need to go, work a little more, and stand up.
Right on, man. Well, tonight you were good, but just not good enough. Thanks for coming down from Idaho. We love you, man. Thanks, man.
Hey, thank you, Salt Lake. Thanks.
This post-fight interview sponsored by American Bush, Utah's only 18 and over gentlemen's club located at 2630 South, 300 West.
Hey, how did that feel to come away with that, man? You went into the second round. That's the first time that's happened since you've been inside this cage. How did you feel about it when you walked away with that victory, man?
Well, first of all, I want to thank my sponsors. Oh, wait, I don't have any sponsors. But that would be pretty sweet if I had some sponsors.
Tuiaki, man, he's always got some fun. Sponsor this guy. Sponsor this guy. He needs it. He's been knocking people out since he got in here. How do you feel about things, man?
Good. I mean, it's a learning experience. My first time in a big crowd like this, and the crowd is great, man. Being here in Utah and going to the ground, going 2 rounds, felt good.
You know what, and that's what I'm saying. You've got what it takes to step in and do this. And all the fans in Utah, they love you, man. I can't wait to see more. You're going to be knocking out competition in these next couple rounds.
I'll be there.
All right, let's give a round of applause for Tuiaki. Congratulations, you got the cup, baby.
Utah, baby, 1-0 right now.
Tuiaki once again, betting, knocked somebody out.
You stand up with that kid, chances are lights out. You know, Paul had a good strategy in the first round, take him to the ground, and you saw that he had the advantage there. But when you're on your feet with this kid, oh man, that's like a freight train coming.
No, I'll tell you what though, if you find yourself in the advantage position against that kid, you better capitalize, because if you don't, you might not get 2 of those chances.
Lights out.
Hey, that's the Ultimate Combat Experience. Weight division.